What if the afterlife had a bureaucracy, complete with paperwork deadlines and office politics? That's exactly what the new movie Eternity explores, turning the age-old question of eternal love into something surprisingly fresh and complex.
The premise really does grab you. It's like The Good Place meets Ghost, but with this fascinating twist about having to choose between two great loves.
You know what's really compelling about the setup? They've given Joan, played brilliantly by Elizabeth Olsen, this impossible choice between her first husband Luke, who died young in the Korean War, and Larry, who she spent 65 years with. And they only have a week to decide before being sent to some kind of celestial basement.
That time pressure element really adds something special to the story. It forces them to confront these big questions about love and mortality head-on.
Well, what makes it even more interesting is how they've structured the afterlife itself. You've got these coordinators, Divine Joy Randolph and John Early, essentially acting as competing lawyers for each husband. It's like a cosmic custody battle for Joan's eternal soul.
The way they've balanced the tone must be challenging, though. How do you make something this heavy feel light enough for a romantic comedy?
That's exactly what makes this film special. They managed to find this sweet spot between philosophical depth and genuine humor. Like that opening scene where elderly Joan and Larry are bickering on their way to a gender reveal party. It immediately grounds everything in reality.
Oh, and speaking of reality, I love how they've made the afterlife feel both magical and mundane at the same time. You can choose to spend eternity in the mountains or by the beach, but first you have to fill out the proper forms.
Right. And that bureaucratic element actually serves the story in a fascinating way. It's like they're suggesting that even in paradise, we can't escape these very human systems we've created. But what really gets me is how they're exploring different kinds of love.
Well, that's true. You've got this perfect but brief first love with Luke versus this long, complex relationship with Larry. It's not just about who she loves more, but what kind of love means more.
And you know what makes it even more complex? The casting of Miles Teller as young Larry and Callum Turner as Luke. They both had to make their relationships with Joan feel equally valid, but in completely different ways. It's like comparing a perfect summer day to all four seasons.
The way Elizabeth Olsen handles these emotional complexities must be pretty remarkable. She has to make us believe in both relationships.
Absolutely crucial point. Her performance is what holds everything together. She has to show us why both these men matter to her, while also letting us see her genuine struggle with the choice. It's not just about who she picks. It's about what that choice says about love itself.
So even though the review mentions it's somewhat predictable where it's heading, the journey still matters more than the destination?
You know, sometimes knowing where you're going allows you to focus on the more interesting questions along the way. Like, what makes a relationship meaningful? Is it the quality of time spent together? The quantity? The potential of what could have been? These are questions that anyone who's loved multiple people has probably grappled with.
Well, that's what makes this story so universally relatable, even with its fantastical premise. We've all wondered about the roads not taken in our lives.
And in the end, that's what makes this movie work so brilliantly. It takes these huge, universal questions about love and mortality and examines them through this unique lens. The afterlife setting actually allows them to explore very earthly concerns about choice and regret in a way that feels fresh and engaging.
Sounds like they've managed to create something that's both entertaining and thought-provoking. Not an easy balance to strike.
Like you said, it's not easy, but when it works, as it seems to here, you end up with something special, a story that makes us laugh while also making us think about what really matters in life. And apparently, in the afterlife, too. Rated M, Eternity scores a 7.5 out of 10.
You've been listening to Movies First.
Available at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favourite podcast player. You can also stream on demand at Bytes.com.
This has been another quality podcast production from Bytes.com.